Judd Zolgad, Jeff Dubay, Judd and Dubay, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. weekdays, 1500 ESPN and 1500ESPN.com videos. All right, Dubers, where do we start with the Vikings? They lose again yesterday to Dallas. It's a close loss. It's a late loss. Kevin Williams, Brian Robinson, two veteran defensive players afterwards questioning the coaching. Not a surprise. This was coming eventually. Nonetheless, though, it's an important step in a season because when the players start to turn on the coaches publicly, that's about it.
Yeah, and it's from a fan standpoint, which is basically what I am. It's kind of reassuring. It's kind of a nice acknowledgement that we're not idiots. That the things we've been seeing all year long that have been bothering us.
Idiots,
well, we are, but not on this one.
Yeah, we're right on this.
Oh, look what I just did to my hair. I mean, like when it comes to Musgrave,
my hair's flat.
When it comes to Musgrave, look, we're a couple of divas.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Musgrave. Musgrave has done some things this year that are so unexplainable that it's almost hard to believe they're real, that you almost think to yourself, okay, there must be something here that I don't know, that I don't get, because nobody could be this far off base and hold the position that he holds. But when you get the ball with less than 5 minutes left, and Peterson's having the first game he's had in over a month where he looks like Peterson, and you don't give him the ball, you decide to sling it as your best chance to win at that point, that's a fireable offense. That's a Giants game plan disaster. It's unexplainable, and I like to see that you finally have some players that are willing to call out bad coaching. That's about time.
Christian Ponder will start again on Thursday. He started again on Sunday, and I actually thought until the end of the game, when the game plan changed, and I don't know why, I actually thought Musgrave's game plan for Ponder Sunday at Dallas against the Cowboys was pretty good. But my question is this. You're 1-7. Ponder's not your future. Josh Freeman might be. You have no idea. Matt Castle is not. You continue to play Ponder. Could my theory be right? Could Ponder play Thursday against Washington? And if Josh Freeman's taken a while to get the playbook, they play him then the next game because it's a longer week. Because I just can't still for the life of me, and we've talked about this for weeks, figure out what they're doing with the quarterbacks. And Christian Ponder, if they're really looking at him, if they still are taking an extended look at this guy, then as I said this morning on the air, everybody should be fired. Right. There should be everybody out of Winter Park other than the PR department. Maybe.
And not being able to figure out what to do with the quarterbacks, I'll tell you, the chefs, I think they got good food over there.
Gigi's very good.
But there are no good options. I mean, that's part of the problem. I mean, Josh Freeman is a mediocre, maybe a high-end game manager, in my opinion. That's all he's ever been, probably all he ever will be. So we're looking at him as maybe a savior, or at least a best option. It tells you that there just aren't any good options over there. And I agree that Ponder's a waste of time. He's not your future, and we've seen enough to determine that he's not the future. But I got to believe that Freeman is not playing and not even suiting up because he's not getting the offense, because he just doesn't understand it enough. And what happened against the Giants was such a complete and utter train wreck. It scared the hell out of this coaching staff about putting this guy in the field again anytime soon.
But you let him throw the ball 53 times.
It was their fault.
Isn't there a happy medium here? Can't we get to it? You've got number 28 in your backfield.
Yeah.
It's not as if this offense is predicated on the pass.
Nope.
So I don't understand it.
That's Musgrave.
Let's get to that's the bad. They're 1-7. The Vikings are done. Let's get to the good. This Gopher football team. We've watched this Gopher football team for about the same number of years. We've seen so many disheartening losses. Saturday we saw a game that a lot of teams under Mason, just keep going back through the coaches through the years, would have lost. Goody, those guys. Gophers, they blew a big lead Saturday. You could nitpick at what happened, but you know what? In the end, they won a game.
Yeah, and they're 7-2, which I couldn't have seen coming. When they lost those first two Big Ten games to Iowa and Michigan, they looked lifeless. The offense looked, I want to say one-dimensional. It might have been no-dimensional at that point. All of a sudden, they got a quarterback who can throw the ball a little. They've got Lime Grover loosening things up a little bit with the play calling, as you pointed out on the show today.
And Lime Grover confirmed, and he said that's very true.
Yeah, it's they definitely have opened it up. And doesn't Nelson look like a different quarterback? I mean, he's getting the ball downfield without wobble, which he couldn't do before.
Looks different. The offensive line looks good, and Cobb at running back to me has been very good. And you know what you found? They might not be great, but you found some receivers. Yeah. Because we talked about that.
And they're using the tight ends. Really getting into the tight ends, too.
But the passing game, it's funny. If you look at the Gophers and the Vikings right now, what you see from the Vikings is a lack of creativity and game plans that just make no sense. The Gophers, for the last, 3 weeks, you see creativity and game plans where you say, the fact they dialed up a blitz with 9 seconds left against the Hoosiers on Saturday, Granted, the Hoosiers made a bad play.
They did.
But you could also say the Gophers forced them into a bad play because they used a play that they had practiced but hadn't used that entire game. Coaching's been huge here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And if it's Jerry Kill being up in the box and that being more effective, I don't know what it is. But the Gophers coaching staff, these last 3 weeks, they deserve a ton of credit.
They do. They absolutely do. I didn't see any kind of turnaround coming at all. When they were going to Northwestern, I thought they had very little chance, if any at all. That was a big defensive effort. They won that game. Then offensively, they've blown up the last 2 weeks. And we better wrap this up because if my ride calls,
we're done.
It's going to ruin the video. It'll ruin the video.
Judd Dubay, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. weekdays, 1500 ESPN. Thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com. We'll talk to you soon.
Good wrap up.
That's it.
Nice.
We're done.